Are you the guy that has been working so hard for the last few years, locking in, grinding 24/7, but still not seeing any results from it, still staying broke in the same exact cycle as everybody else? I was in that same position, and why I'm credible to talk about this topic is because last summer I was in minus on my bank account. I didn't have any money, and then I started my digital product business, and last year I made a few thousand, and now I scaled to 30K a month with digital products in e-commerce. And before I give you the actual fucking reason why you're stuck in this cycle, I gotta give you a reality check that most of you motherfuckers need. People on the internet have been instilling the mindset that all you need to get rich, to get successful in business and life, is to work hard. And that's a false belief. That is not true. Only working hard will not get you the life that you want. That is not true. And if you're working hard right now, you're probably doing one of these three things which are not giving you the results that you want. The first thing you're probably doing is you're underestimating the time that it needs for your work that you're doing every day to actually materialize in the physical reality. Now, how that works is on the left side, you have yourself. Like you're working on your e-commerce store, trying to sell these products, trying to drop ship, trying the agency stuff. And you're putting in the work, you're working hard, but you're underestimating how much fucking time it takes for you to put in the work and that work to materialize in the physical reality. Now, when you see on the internet, these guys, 20 years old, 21 years old, 19, having the penthouses in Miami, having the good cars, the good life, you don't understand that for those guys to get to that reality, to get to that dream life, it took them a few fucking years. Now, when you see my story, when you see that I went from making zero money to 30K a month in a short period of time, you think it's overnight success. I had luck. But no, that is not true, because when I started high school, I tried to start a business. I tried to run a cybersecurity company with two of my friends, and it did not work. We were working for 3-4 years, making zero fucking money for the 3 years of my life and not seeing any results from it. But I didn't underestimate the time it takes. I knew that it takes a long time. But for the past 4 years, I've been building experiences, knowledge, sales experience. I've been learning so much. And then my exponential results happened last year in August. And it looks like overnight success to a person that's seeing it from third person's view, that doesn't see my story, where I came from and where most people came from. Most people on the internet that have the luxuries in their life, they put in so much fucking months, years, time into that life. They put in so much fucking years, but you don't see it that way because you see it as overnight success because they are young. But that doesn't mean shit. If you were working on the right business model, having the right mindset, the frequency, from 15 years old to now, you would have your dream fucking life. It takes a long fucking time. Now, the second thing that you're probably doing is that you're working in a shit market. Now, let's say you fucking start a business of trying to sell fine dining steaks in a homeless shelter for $100 per steak. How the fuck do you expect to sell that steak and get rich? It's a shit market. It's a good service, it's a good offer, but it's a shit market. Now, I fell into this trap myself because when I was trying to make money, I was trying to sell good services in the wrong market. So let's say this is you, like working on your e-commerce store, working on your products, but you're trying to sell a product in a shit market. You're trying to sell a product in a market that has low purchasing power and low problem-solving potential. Now, when you get into the situation where you're working on a business model and you're working in a shit market, you're gonna feel productive. Your mind is gonna trick you into feeling productive, but deep down inside of you, you know that that's a wrong market. And I knew that myself. I allowed my brain literally to trick me into feeling productive, into feeling good, that I'm working hard, that I'm gonna achieve success. But deep down I knew I was working the right business model in the wrong market. Even if I succeeded, my income potential would be capped at a few $1,000s a month. And that wouldn't give me the life that I wanted. So in the end, if you're working on a good business model in a wrong niche, Even if you make it, that's still not gonna get you the results that you want. So please, don't fucking fool yourself. If you're in this position, don't fool yourself thinking you're productive and doing the right things if you deep down you know you're working in a shit fucking market. Now the third thing, and this is the trap that most people fall for, that their perception is shit. So this is your perception of reality. What does perception even mean? Perception in the Cambridge fucking dictionary, I put this out for your nerds, like Cambridge Dictionary wrote this definition. Perception is a belief or opinion often held by many people and based on how things seem. So, to conclude, perception is not reality. It's a belief. It's an opinion. It's not the reality. It's not the facts. And most of you motherfuckers have the wrong perception about anything you're doing in life. Let's say you want to get rich, but your perception about the rich people is that they are blessed by God, that they're evil people, that they had to go through some criminal shit, like do some bad shit to get rich. If you have that perception, you're never gonna get rich. And the way you perceive life and reality is how reality will see you. Understand that. And if you, right now, have the perception that does not serve you, that perception will control you. So let's say you're doing e-com, and your perception about e-com is that only that e-com and dropshipping is saturated and that's cooked, like it's not a good viable business model in 2025. Why would you serve that perception? That does not serve you at all. That will not help you get rich. That will not help you get money. That will not help you get success. Don't entertain the idea of a perception that does not serve you, because in turn, it will control you. It will control your reality, your life, and eventually you're gonna end up in a shit life. So what is the actual trap or perception? We need to understand on the metaphysical level, what does perception even mean? Perception is an entity. It's a blind intelligence that wants to live and wants to survive like any other being. But how does it survive? It survives by feeding off your energy. And how does it do that? It does that by keeping you stuck in a paradigm. Now, a paradigm, we can think of it as a box. So this is you. You're the guy that's working all of these years, but you're stuck in a box surrounded by the beliefs, opinions, fake truths, and limits that does not serve you. Now, I talked about this. If you have a belief, I heard this somewhere, like from the guys in the e-com space. A lot of guys have the belief that the end of the month, end of every month, is a bad period for sales. If you believe that the end of the month is a bad period for sales and conversion rates, that will not serve you. You will only shoot yourself in the leg if you have that belief and opinion. Another belief that people have in the real estate industry is that January is a bad month for sales. Why would you believe that January is a bad month for sales? And how does perception work is that perception will control your reality, but the fundamentals of controlling your reality is having the right beliefs. So if you have a belief that January is a bad month for sales, that belief will turn into perception, how you perceive reality, how you treat reality, which will lead into vibration, the frequency, and the frequency you can think of it as a state of consciousness, which will lead to your reality. And that reality will often take you to this fucking position, in the position of you putting your fries in the bag, being broke, being depressed. So please, in order to change your reality, to live the dream life, you gotta change your beliefs. I'm gonna explain how you change your beliefs, but beliefs are a fundamental building block to your reality. You need to understand that. Conceptualize that in your brain and understand it perfectly. Take the notes, have an open mind, and please, please, please understand that beliefs are the fundamentals. Without the right beliefs, you're not gonna have the right reality. You're gonna live the reality that you don't want to live, instead of living the life that you do want to live. So, if you have a belief, let's analyze the situation. If you have a belief that January is a bad month for sales, that will lead you into perceiving that in January you're gonna make less money, which will lead you into a vibration. Now, vibration, you can think of it as a most common emotion that you feel. So let's say for January, December has finished. It's New Year's Eve, you got into January. If you have a common state of emotion that in January you're gonna make less money, you're gonna be sad, depressed, oh, I'm gonna make less money, that's terrible. That will lead you into having a state of consciousness, which will lead you to take actions that will lead you to a reality of January making less money than all the other months. Now, if you have the belief that January is a month of abundance, like the polar opposite of the belief that January is a bad month for sales, is that January is a good month and it's an abundant month for sales and money. If you have the belief that January is a month of abundance, if you're gonna perceive reality and perceive that month as the month you're gonna make the most money, and what would that lead to? It will lead to a vibration or an emotion, the most common emotion, that you're gonna feel happy, motivated. You're gonna be jumping up from joy that you're gonna make so much money this month. It's gonna be crazy, which will lead you to a frequency or the state of consciousness, which will lead you to take actions that are gonna get you the reality that you want. And in that case, it's gonna lead you to a reality of January making the most money. Now, how that works is, when you have the belief that January is a month of abundance, what would that lead you? It will lead you to waking up early in the morning, doing more cold calls. Let's say you have an agency. In January, you're gonna do more cold calls, small call outreach. You're gonna do more work, more inputs, because you know deep down inside, you have the belief that in January, you're gonna make the most money. That's how this shit fucking works. And also about beliefs. Most people don't hold beliefs. The beliefs hold them. Because most people have so much fucking limiting beliefs that they get stuck in this shit life instead of living the life that they want to live. And it all comes down to the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are beliefs. I just explained how one belief, one simple paradigm shift, one simple belief can change the course of a whole fucking month. Please understand that. Now, how do you battle perception? How do you battle not having the bad perception and bad beliefs? The only weapon you have is concentration and focus. Now, the first step to killing the beliefs that will lead you to a shit life is writing them down. Now, you can lie to me, you can lie to yourself, but you cannot lie to the reality, the universe, the God. You cannot lie to those beings. They know the truth. They know the deep down truth. Now, you need to write down the beliefs. And another thing you need to understand about beliefs and truths in your reality is that nothing in reality is actually true and factual unless your subconscious mind accepts that as truths. So you will have people in industries, like let's say you have an industry of real estate, and that industry of real estate has a set of beliefs that most people in that industry believe to. So let's say in e-commerce, you have the belief that at the end of the month, people are going to buy less because they'll have less money. That's a common belief in the e-com space. Now, if your subconscious mind accepts that as truths, it's going to lead you to taking actions that will lead you to a reality of the end of the period of that month is going to lead to less sales. Why is that? Because you're going to put in less work. You're not going to think about your business as much because, oh, you just accept that this month, at the end of this month, I'm going to make less money, and that's the truth. But if you write down your beliefs and you understand that the end of the period of that month is going to lead you to more sales because people are going to buy more, what will that lead you to? It will lead you to taking the actions of doing more marketing, trying out new ideas, building your back end of your e-commerce store, upgrading your email sequences. It's going to lead you to the actions that are eventually lead you to a reality where at the end of that month, you're going to make more money than if you had the belief that the end of that month is going to lead you to less money. Please understand that. Now, the second step, when you write down the list of your fucking beliefs, put a dash on it and write down the polar opposites. So let's say you have the belief that January is a bad month for sales. What is the polar opposite of that? The polar opposite of that belief is that January is a month of abundance. Now write the polar opposites for each belief that you have. And then, as I said, the only weapon you have against battling these beliefs and perceptions is your concentration and focus. So use your concentration and focus to just having that belief. Like, you need to eliminate everything that is stopping you from achieving the life that you want to live. And I'm talking about beliefs. How do you use concentration and focus to eliminate your limiting beliefs? Now, this is gonna sound fucking esoteric and shit, but like, you're gonna do these steps. You're gonna lay down, get into a meditative state. Now, it will take you 15, 20, 30 minutes. A meditative state is a state where your mind is fully relaxed, you only have your thoughts, but you do not entertain them. Your body feels heavy, that's a meditative state. Now, if you do this at night, if you lay down in bed, you're probably gonna fall asleep. So please sit yourself in a position that is uncomfortable so you don't fall asleep. Get into the meditative state and pick apart your mind. Like, go into your mind and think about the limiting beliefs that you have. So let's say you have a limiting belief of January being a bad month for sales. Imagine yourself in that month making more money than ever. Making more money than ever. Making the most money of all that year. Think of that month of January as a month of abundance and change your limiting beliefs. Now, when you finish this process, I would say, then you need to understand that you need to get into a common state of emotion that will lead you to having the state of consciousness, which will lead you to taking action to get that desired reality according to the polar opposite belief that you had. So how do you do that? If you destroy the limiting belief of January being a bad month for sales, you're gonna get into the belief that January is a month of abundance. You're gonna perceive that month as a month of making the most money. You will feel joyful, you will feel motivated, you're gonna be even more pumped up to work, which will lead you to getting up every day, working more, saying more cold outreaches, doing more cold emails, doing more cold calls, improving your backend, improving your copy on your website, which will lead you to making more money in that month. This is how powerful this fucking shit is. Now, all of this sounds esoteric and like metaphysical and stuff, but it's very, very true. And I want you to conceptualize everything that I've said and extrapolate it to your mind, to your situation, and apply it to your own like situational life, whatever you're going through. Please take the actionable steps. Have an open mind about this. Just listen to me. Take the actionable steps. This will fucking change your life. 100%. If you do the steps I gave you, it's gonna change your life. Because, as I said, if you change your fundamentals, it will start a domino effect of beliefs turning into how you perceive reality, turning into you having the most common emotion of the person in that reality, leading you to have a state of consciousness that's gonna give you or prompt you to do actions that are actually gonna materialize the things that you want to have in your life. I hope you understand what I told you. Please rewatch the video. I spat out a bunch of words. I spoke very fast because I have to go. But basically, I hope you found this video valuable. It's a short fucking video, but it's full of fucking value. Please conceptualize everything that I've said, extrapolate it to your own situation, do the actionable steps, and as always, follow me on Instagram because I share my story, share my images, share my life, and maybe we can connect and share some business value. Thank you all for watching, and please see you on this side of life. Have a nice day.